Is this gonna record? Okay, no. So we're going there. We're going there. I don't have any loud books to clap.
That's okay.
So. Oh,
3?
yeah, just take it off whenever you want.
3, 2, 1. This episode has brought to you by. I was hoping you'd fill in the blank there.
The end of season 4.
The end of season 4. 40 episodes in. We're 40 episodes in. Welcome to the Portal Gun Podcast. What's up, Isaac?
Not much, Jeff. How's it going?
You know, it's
We're
going.
Here.
It's going.
We are.
I think this is the upgraded setup. This is the first episode with. We got the new mic stand here. We've got.
Think so. And if you're watching YouTube, you managed to catch the screen grab of some Pro Tools edits there too.
There it is, right there. Don't
private
reveal our
text.
secrets.
I know. I just revealed my private text message change too. But as you can see, you can join.
We'll
us.
edit that out. You guys didn't see anything at all. And cut. Anyway, so here we are. We're about 3 weeks out from the end of season 4. It's been 3 weeks.
We're filming on June 13th, Saturday.
We now have time to digest. I understand, Isaac, you had some harsh feelings about the end of season 4, which we'll dive into in a little bit. Nothing negative, of course, just constructive and thought-provoking and positive conversation. That's all we're about here.
We've got it right here.
On the Portal Gun Podcast, you've got it a whole spoonful. Keep the negative YouTube clicks away. Literally.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I never understood that. What was it about? Was it about a spoonful of sugar? That's a total sidetrack, but I don't like Mary Poppins, and this isn't about her, so...
The Mary Poppins podcast is debuting after this.
There you go.
For now,
where we talk about supercalifragilisticexpialidocious and how it's like it had
and its effect on American culture.
Exactly, it's impacted it more than we realize.
I think right off the bat, dude, this is a momentous occasion for us here at the Portal Gun Podcast. This is episode number 10. We are 10 episodes deep right now.
Double digits.
Finally hitting the double digits. Do you remember when you were 10?
Oh, wow. That you caught me by surprise.
Yep.
Let's see. I started kindergarten late, and I was like a little older, so I think I would.
Were you 10 years old in kindergarten?
No, I started like.
That's what I thought you were going to say. No, where's this actually going?
It's very weird how I recall my age in terms of grade, and even as an adult, when I think about how old somebody is, I have to like equate my own recollection of memory.
Like where was I at?
Exactly.
Yeah, I do that too.
So I think 10th grade is 10th grade. I think 10 years old is like 3rd grade, right? Or so-ish.
Sure.
Let's
We'll think about it. 10. That was.
I was watching like Zoids and like
that was 2001.
I think I was into Yu-Gi-Oh.
2001 maybe. For a little bit of the year, but mostly 2002 mostly.
So
2002 was probably like second,
still
third
concerned
grade.
With Pokemon
we don't know. If we sound like idiots right now, we honestly have no idea. I haven't thought about 3rd grade since I was in 3rd grade. So that's the end of that
if
one.
If you could go back, would you change anything?
No. Not a thing.
You heard it here, folks.
I don't care what awesome movie plot you have planned for me. I will not change a thing about 3rd grade, and I will say it on record. Anyway, so here we are. We are out. We have an entire 4th season in our midst. We actually have something.
It's done. We were waiting for it for so long.
We really were. Like this was like a time of uncertainty. If you want to flash back to our earlier episodes, we were literally like, "Yo, what's gonna happen? Like, when is it actually gonna happen?" And then they freaking dropped it on us like a watermelon on our heads, and we actually got to see season 4 finally. And honestly, dude, like, I know your thoughts a little bit. I wanted to preserve it for this episode here because I want to hear it out. I was very happy with the season. I liked. Favorite episode of the season by far was the vat of acid episode, and we can dive into that a little bit more. I think what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna do a season kind of wrap up. We're not gonna go in. I think the next episode we would have been reviewing, since we were reviewing them kind of in live time, would have been Primordius. But we are just that's
where we left off. I think.
Yeah, that's where we left off. So I think since we have already done that, we're going to perhaps steer away just a little bit and just talk about the season in itself and a unit.
Yeah, wrapping up and how we can go back and touch on those. And I don't feel like there's too much continuity wise through those last 3 episodes. They were, I guess, as in continuity's sake, as connected as they were disconnected.
Mm-hmm. So if you think about it, we saw the. I'm just recalling the trailer for the other 5 as it was called. Where we saw all those like epic scenes and epic shots in a trailer that we had actually really got to go over, and we got to go into it into detail. Anything from the trailer that maybe did you see something from the trailer that you didn't see in the episodes, or did you see something that was not as exciting as you might have thought? I mean, I know that we got all those epic scenes in that first episode of the second 5, Never Rick and Morty. But I still think there's a lot of details in the trailer that we did analyze that we weren't expecting.
Yeah, and that's when I think back to the main trailer that we were given for the other 5 of season 4. It took me right off surprise of the first episode because, the way that they opened up outside of with the army of Gazorpazorps and all that stuff. Jerry's honey came to fruition.
Yeah, we know
found
about
out
that
about
now.
that.
Yeah, that was real.
We saw Tammy and Birdman. I think you'll have some comments about the Birdman tie-in there at the end.
Birdman.
And shout out YMCMB.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I wasn't soured by any letdown expectations from what the trailer showed me or what the season gave me. I guess in all honesty, I didn't have much expectations for the end of the season because with the show like Rick and Morty, like we talk about, having set expectations is kind of a setup for personal disappointment. So why, I try to leave that open-minded viewership on the episode, and I still need to rewatch all of season 4 again in order to form a whole opinion that I would actually want to bring to a full discussion. But right now, this is just us recapping it as it's become popularized, and a couple other people have posted some stuff about it. But what about you? Anything that didn't pay off in the trailer?
No, see, that's the thing. I was worried about it a little bit. When they had done the Story Train episode, which was Never Rick and Morty, I was really worried because they had put all those epic scenes pretty much in that episode. So when they had gone through, the alternate timelines or talking about how everything is meta and things like that, I was going to be disappointed if they actually never paid off any of that stuff. And I think what we're witnessing right now, especially with season 4, is that Rick and Morty is more than self-aware. I don't want to say of itself because it's self-aware of itself kind of sound ridiculous.
Exactly, but
it's true. I think they are growing into their own style, which is kind of lack of style. And
this is kind of I don't want to call it one of a kind. It's one of an age of a scene of media and culture that consumes things digitally. Mm-hmm. So the way that they can I lost my train of thought. Keep going. I'm going to edit that out.
Yeah, so I mean, when you think about it, a lot of those scenes, as we said, were in that first episode of the other 5, and I was kind of like, man, are those all the scenes that were in the trailer that we were so stoked and hyped about?
Yeah,
are those just not gonna be was that just a whole big joke that we were expecting this big space epic, the return of Tammy, the return of Bird Person, and all these other evil Morty? Is it all going to actually happen right here? And then having it kind of be a rug out from underneath you in the first episode of the other 5, I was like, damn, that's how it is.
It's a weird sense of relief, but also it re-excites your anxiety for what's coming.
Yeah, and once again, I'm glad that they did deliver with the final episode of the season there. Star Mort Return of the Jerry.
The Star Wars callback.
Which is a Star Wars, yeah.
This is if I have a first gripe about season 4, it's these reaches for the names, dude. Mm-hmm. Not that I want them to drop that, it's just But yeah. It's kind of like, if you... It's not analogous to movies or, I guess, painting as art in modern culture would be, but certain titles of things do matter, but I guess the title of what you're visually watching doesn't matter unless it's a movie.
And I mean, it's not like they haven't been doing some of these titles before. If you want to throw it back to season 1, a couple of the titles have to do with some part of the episode. So like Lawnmower Dog was the second episode, which had to do with Snowball.
Right.
And then Me Seeks and Destroy, which that was the Me Seeks episode.
Right.
That was also season 1. Raising Gazorp, also season 1.
Okay.
So and then once they got into like season 2 and so on and so forth, they kind of got more into the name parodies, but still, even like looking at season 3, looking at the list here, the Pickle Rick episode is called Pickle Rick.
And that's true, yeah. I guess now that you mentioned that, I guess I've only noticed it in the lacking seasons that I've paid more attention to titles.
This whole season, though, the season 4 that we're discussing, that whole season is every title is a play on something.
And now that we're talking about it creatively, I guess I kind of give props to throwing, just like we do when we're recording something that we're not going to keep or we're just working on. If you throw a stupid title at it while you're working on it, it doesn't fixate you to the end plot of what it is.
Yeah.
So you don't have to name something season 4 ending episode. You can just name it whatever the loose plot of what you're riffing on or what the plot's going to be about.
Yeah.
So that makes perfect sense. But were there any? I have to ask you as a more avid Star Wars fan than I and most others. Were there any actual Star Wars references in the episode? I think it was like a Death Star one, maybe.
Yeah. So and Rick kind of calls it back to in this last episode here. He says like, "Oh, we're gonna do a Star Wars thing. Oh, we're gonna do a Star Wars thing." Like them going to a remote place on like some kind of rebel mission. That's just Star Wars. No matter where you go, if you go somewhere to rescue somebody and you got to fight somebody, like it could all be drawn back to something like that, just something like Star Wars. So, I thought it was hilarious, and I really enjoyed the end of that episode because it really got kind of deep. And
Rick and Morty's good about tongue-in-cheek references like that. Like they're sure not to throw shade, but they pay a certain amount of homage and they get past the bit.
For sure. Yeah, so right off the bat, though, man, I do want to just dive straight in and ask you the hardball question. I'm throwing a curve right here.
All right, let's hear it.
Disappointments about the season. Let's start with something you didn't like. Number 1. Let's get the negative energy out of here. Just we're gonna
yeah, exactly.
Kick it out of here.
Get the disgruntled thoughts out of the way. I don't know if they're as, now that you asked me and put me on the spot, it's going to put me in a pickle.
You feel better about the season, though, right? After you've had time to kind of digest it, and
Season 4 makes me worried for the next 6. And that is judging off of the 4 seasons they have currently. Mm-hmm. So basically, when you think about it in terms of what they'll have in the end, if they end Rick and Morty after the 60 episodes of Season 4, which would hypothetically be 10 seasons, 100 episodes. Mm-hmm. They have yet to release the amount of content they already have released. So it's what we talk about all the time, that creative pigeonholing of, is this series going to suffer from the hype of itself? Are they going to have to write themselves into these plot referential episodes every season? Because that is actually what I don't want for season 5 and 6. I don't want 10 episode seasons where 4 of them are continuatively referenced. That's not the right word for it, but on a continuity basis, the episodes don't track. I do enjoy the ones that don't, but it just seems like a lot of filler for this these episodes that they've come about with. But I say that coming from an angle of enjoyment, because even though it doesn't give me much story-wise, it still gives me entertainment.
Yeah.
So I guess just mainly story-wise, I think I wish more would have come out of maybe not character arcs or character plots, but I'm a huge fan of character development. I think we've talked about in Game of Thrones, they wrote some really long, you're talking like 6-7 season character arcs, and those really pay off for me when a character calls back on calls back on a situation, or is made part of who they become in the end has been plotted out beforehand. And I feel like that's kind of being written right now with Clone Beth, right?
Yeah.
And I just don't know what Rick is going to do. So I liked the heaviness of this end of season 4. I liked what it showed about Rick's self-realization about his own character. And I like how it left the ambiguity of Beth and her clone because, I guess in a perverse way, if you had a clone, if you could make a clone of yourself, or any of your loved ones could make a clone of themselves, and you ask them if they are the clone or if they're happy, like, would you make a clone of yourself and go off and live another life? It really kind of corners you into a kind of very wondrous situation where you're like, what could I do if I had a clone of myself? So Rick and Morty makes you think about what you've done in the past, how Rick judges himself, and I think all except for Jerry just still seems to be suffering, and that's kind of what I'm also upset about. Is like, right, as much as they try to tie up Jerry's storylines, I want Jerry to have more of a purpose and also capitalize on it instead of just having hopeless whims. But I don't know. That was a long diatribe and kind of my base feelings on it. What in rebuttal, sir? I what is it called? I something my time. I defer my time to Jeff Wilson.
And this is the next week. Catch our Solar Opposites podcast as we are canceling the Portal Gun podcast, and we are going to what would we call our Solar Opposites podcast? Pupa Pals.
Yeah, exactly.
Pupa Pals. And that'll be it. No, so I do. The story did seem a little different.
Pupa Pals podcast.
Pupa Pals podcast. Triple P. But I do like, once again, I think as the show grows and as it goes on and airs, if it takes the time between the seasons, whatever. But I do feel like they are becoming, like I said, more self-aware of what the show actually means to people and what it is.
Right.
What kind of art are they creating? Are they creating like a one-time? Is this supposed to be something that's just for a gag? Or is this something that is supposed to mean something? Or is it none of that? I think it's up to them to just kind of do their own thing, go their own way.
Leave you as the threads to be dangled.
Yeah, so whatever you want to interpret it as, it's free for interpretation. So, but one of the things that I think could be attributed to something that you were saying is that during that last episode, they made a joke about Tammy being over-serialized. Now, what that means is, for, I guess, people who don't know, some shows being serial. So, like, it's a story. Every episode continues that same story. I don't want to say canon, because canon's kind of a dumb name that gets thrown around a lot.
If you think about, like, NCIS, the show goes on episodically. And
or like The Wire, or Game of Thrones, or Breaking Bad, or something like that. Yes. And it's like those shows that are just every episode carries the story more and more and more.
In contrast to something like The Twilight Zone.
Yeah, where every it's episodic. Every episode is different or whatever. So I think they're trying to lean towards maybe something like a Family Guy or something like that, where every episode doesn't necessarily have to matter. And they even joked about it themselves, talking about, hey, we still kept Tammy around in the show for some odd reason, even though that plot line could have been thrown out.
Right, and all the self-referential meta, and they're totally self-aware of what they're doing. I think they're as aware of the fans who want a payoff out of these character arcs, as anyone could be. But it's like in Destiny 2, they wrote off one of the main characters, and it's like, once you do that, if you bring them back, it's kind of like a gimmick. You just do it. George R.R. Martin, do you just kill off a character to keep it, keep it interesting? That's what people don't want, but that's also what people will react to.
Yeah, and that's like, once again, that's to think that they not only called back to the Clone Beth plot line that was literally just a gag in an episode, and they literally like, okay, let's
put a lot of weight on it.
Let's continue with that. Yeah, exactly. And like, I do feel like they're, in some sense, they still want to be serialized in that way. They want to still continue the story. Jerry was splitting up with Beth and then got to move back in, at the end of season 2 or whenever that was.
Right.
And Rick's still coming to terms with the fact that he's a shitty person.
And
they want to keep that going, but I think there is still sprinkles of like, okay, we can have off adventures and do whatever here and there, but we still want to keep the train moving. Train.
And if they are subtly building, one or two episodes per season, well, I guess in season 4, it would be arguably 2 episodes of Morty and 2 episodes of Summer. Or I guess they both played one and the same during each episode with the Dragon Dungeon.
Yeah.
And what is it? Children of what is the? I forget what that one's called. Children of whatever it is.
Rick of Mort.
Yeah, I see stupid names. I can't even remember.
Yeah.
But in both of those plot lines, Morty and Summer had some pretty pivotal action in saving Rick's ass, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's becoming apparent too. Is like, not that Rick's losing it, but slowly as he's starting to realize these things, and it's very analogous to life, man. Everybody you know either has a good hold on everything, a good grasp on their life, or they don't, and they know they don't. And the third option is they don't, and they don't know that they don't. So we're seeing these characters who think they're, Jerry all the while thinks he's actually progressing his character, and same with Rick. He thinks he's getting better, trying to do better things, trying to go on adventures and take these compassionate steps to be a better person. But at the end of the day, they're left looking at themselves like, am I just Morty? Do I just want attention? Do I need a girlfriend? Am I just a high school girl as Summer? Am I just a ex lack of a husband to my wife? Am I just a clone to, all these situations get written in, and you really just kind of put that character, you put your own feet in that character's shoes, and you're like, I can kind of feel what they're kind of going for. But I don't know if they're going for heartstrings or if they're going for plot, like views,
Yeah.
Cutthroat question. Who would you be most upset over dying in the show right now? If they killed off one character, who would you be most upset about?
Jerry.
Really?
100%.
Now that you say that,
100%.
Yeah.
I think Jerry needs his due, and which is why I enjoyed the Trisha moment where she sees him beekeeping and, thinks it's hot and wants to sleep with him or whatever.
Right.
I enjoyed that very much. I'm like, finally, Jerry needs something.
Needs some loving.
And then if they end up just like, he's dumb, but like, whatever. He could be dumb. He's allowed to be dumb.
Exactly.
And if they killed him off, I knew that. Right. I knew if they killed him off, I would be upset.
Right.
I would. Yeah.
Understandably.
Yeah. What about you?
Mr. Poopy Butthole didn't make much of an appearance. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that's my answer to this question, but that is something I wish I would have fleshed out more, because they used Mr. Poopy Butthole as a season cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So for him not to
Which
have
is what
much
kind of draws back to what you were saying. They want to do those things that still kind of keep people interested,
Right.
but still not throw you away, but like still make you turn your head a little bit when it comes to some decisions.
And then also every episode they don't throw that reference back. You're like, man, you want to tune in for the next one because you think it'll be there, but you grow more disdain if they don't complete those arcs over time.
Yeah, exactly. But I think all in all, like I said, Season 4 wrapped up really well. I do like the other 5 better than the first 5.
Okay.
I will say that.
I can't make a confident decision on that until I watch them both back, to be honest.
Yeah. And that's fine. That'll happen.
But I want to say I didn't enjoy one more than the other. If I had to choose 5 out of the 10, it would be like 3-2, 2-3. It would be a close match. Right off rip, I would say, was the Dragon episode season 4?
Mm-hmm.
I would say Dragon episode was good. Season ending was good.
The Vat of Absent episode, like
yes,
I said,
yeah,
is,
you said
is
that.
honestly my favorite.
That of episode, and then the train one maybe. So there's 4.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just it was an interesting season for, and it's also them in a position they've never been in. They've never been on the hook for a contract this long with this show. So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that this was the opening inning to this long stretch of a baseball game called TV series.
Yeah. So I guess my next question is, where do they go from here? What's the future look like?
Oh man, you gotta figure out what's going on with Beth and the clone. Yeah, if they don't distinguish who's who, they have to somehow tie in the arc, because the way season 4 left off, it's like they're both living at home now. So now what is it? Is it 2 Beths in the household and 1 Jerry? Do they go get another Jerry from a universe or something?
I don't know.
Where else? I don't know. Birdman. Let's talk about Birdman, dude. What were you satisfied with the Birdman payoff as a big BP fan? Did you like PP?
Honestly, I think it's in all like fairness and reality. I think it does work. It is an appropriate payoff for what was going on. I would, because I'm a sap. I would love for Bird Person to just return to being Bird Person.
Right, me too.
Just because I was watching a couple episodes from season 1 the other day and just remembering how so off the cuff having that character, but still like it was a good character to like have motivate Morty and have kind of drive the story a little bit about Rick's past. Like, what has Rick done in the past
And there's almost none
to
of
gain
that.
a friend like this? Yeah, exactly. So I would have loved to. I mean, also we need to talk about real quick. But Bird Person, I would have wished, went back to being Bird Person. But
Okay.
the fact that he still lives in the garage, whatever.
Right.
Spoilers also.
Yeah, definitely. Way past this.
Before we get into anything, spoilers, I guess. We do talk about. I do want to talk about the fight scenes and the fight choreography in this season. They've been really stepping up. The animation department has really been stepping up their game in the fight coordination area. I think all of them have been just really pleasing to the eye, and really clean animation. And having animated characters fight doesn't sound exciting on the surface.
And when a lot of people think of it, whether they have a history with anime or not, it's a lot of moving lines on the screen and very, very old school animation style of like motion lines instead of animation frames. So the fact that they're kicking it up frame wise, it just it solidifies my comfort in watching animated dramas, because honestly, doesn't matter to me whether it's animated or not. As long as it's good, I'll watch it.
Yeah, if it's well choreographed and if it looks nice, it's gonna be dope.
And that's why they're paying Tom Cruise for Mission Impossible. It's like,
he knows how to fight.
Yeah, but guess what? These scenes are also pretty freaking awesome, and the attention to detail. What was in the episode? What did they have to do with the pants in order to fool the guards? Were like their pants invisible or something? Rick and Morty was pretending like he didn't have pants on or something.
Yeah, I think he was just running around without pants on or something like that.
There was a very funny subplot of like why like him and Summer were able.
Yeah,
to
and
distract
Jerry
the guards.
had the invisible stuff, and he was peeing, and the pee wasn't invisible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like that stuff really, that's the stuff I get a kick out of. Is like, that was really nice.
Yeah. So yeah, and like I said, the animation was awesome, and I think they really stepped it up for this season for sure. And I'm looking forward to see what they can do with season 5. But having people fight and knowing how, once again, a lot of Rick fights this season. He fought Zeus, who we thought was God at first, and then fought Bird Person. And like, can Rick be killed?
Person.
Phoenix Person, yeah, PP, yeah, at the time. Can Rick be killed, man? Can he allow himself to slip, make a mistake, and actually be pulverized?
Bold series prediction right here, right now.
Okay.
Rick and Morty ends with Rick dying.
Wow.
That's the only way I see this series ending. Is them closing the arc full circle on Morty losing his grandfather, Beth losing her father, Summer and Jerry, and that's how it ends for me. If it doesn't, I don't think I'll be disappointed, but I don't know how it does. Yeah. I don't know how they can write these characters with these kinds of intense depth and complexity and not have it pay off in the end. Because in the end, an old guy like Rick is going to die with a lot of regrets, a lot of knowledge, and maybe a lot of honor, maybe a lot of pride, maybe a lot of cowardice, maybe a lot of, it's really hard to tell, but that would be a sufficient payoff for me. Is Rick realizing the gravity of all that he's done over time and his geniusness, but also kind of self-wallowing in the loathing state of it as he passes on, which would be accompanied by a heavy-ass chaos song about, let me out, Tiny Rick song.
Yeah.
Because that's always been Rick's shtick. He keeps chugging along because the lights, camera, action of life never stop rolling, bro.
Yeah. I think that, I don't think a series payoff, but next season I feel like Rick is going to take some time to step away. I think he's going to not run away, but I think he's going to remove himself from the family. And I guess in Beth's case, once again. So just because at the end of the episode we saw how freaking sad he looked, and he was
right. He's like, shit, I'm a terrible father.
Yeah, and then he still had Phoenix Person literally camped up in the garage on the thing, and that's just not going well. And yeah, I think he's gonna I think he's just gonna run, and I think he's just gonna go off and do his own thing. Now that Morty isn't there to kind of look up to him or think he's cool.
And before, when he was kind of locked in prison, it was more of like a save grandpa kind of thing. But he didn't go of his own. He didn't go of his own accord, I guess.
Yeah, there's a theory out there if you want to know something kind of crazy. Crazy.
Spin foil hat theories coming in.
Fan theory. There's a fan theory out there that Evil Morty is Rick's original Morty.
Okay.
The Rick C-137 Rick's original Morty is Evil Morty, and he's been trying to gain revenge since something happened.
The only way I could see that here's how I could see that as a feasible plotline. Rick finally, as Morty is coming into his own, as he has been each season, and continuously taking less shit from Rick and demanding more out of him. If Rick really fucking crosses the line at the last time, bro, and then that turns original Morty into evil Morty, which then plays into the timeline of all the time travel. That's the only way. If Rick really does never learn, that could be possible, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think that they're just gonna. I don't know. I don't know if they're capable of. They're definitely capable of writing something like that, but do they want to go that route with something that deep?
Exactly. And for honestly, even though it's a fan theory, I'm interested to see because there has to be hidden deep knowledge people are basing that on. I'm not sure. The few glimpses we've seen of Evil Morty, I find it hard to believe that they could close the loop on that kind of hard theory.
Yeah, so I guess,
but it's not out of it. I don't. Now that you mention that, the way that they keep tongue-in-cheek referencing Rick and Morty's body being in the backyard, I do not find it surprising at all that either one of the Rick, Morty, Beth, Jerry's, or Summers in the series we see isn't the one we think it is.
Yeah,
I really believe that.
That's also very true. There's your fan theory moment.
Woo, 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 woo. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I think it wrapped up really nicely. I'm glad this episode came about the way it did, because I feel like if we had something like this midway through the season, it wouldn't have hit as hard.
Right.
Mid-season cliffhangers, I mean, for me, tend to not really hold any water. So I'm glad that we actually had this at the end of the season.
Right off rip, I'll be real mad if they don't just release all 10 episodes in episodical order. I'll be mad if they split it up again, bro. Do not do that to us.
I mean, it could very well happen like that,
In my opinion, they did it this time because Northern had a lot going on with Solar Opposites and stuff. I like to think that they, on a production level, have things together enough for those. That'll be the second batch of 10 for 20 out of 70 episodes. It's almost like once they get the gear rolling, hypothetically, 30 through 50 should be the best.
Statistically speaking, that's how they should get there. Yeah.
If I'm talking creatively, if you pull out the stats and make yourself a Microsoft Word bar chart, sheets and graphs and such. Welcome to my PowerPoint presentation. My name is Ted.
Yeah. If you think about it, so season 4, dropped November 2019, and then we had 5.
God, it seems 8 years ago.
Dude, doesn't it seem like so long ago? November 2019.
Jesus. This year has been
we've commentated
5
on
years.
it. We've commentated on it up to 9 times if you don't count this episode.
Right.
So, November 2019, and then we're consistent for 5 weeks because of the first 5 episodes, and then took a break until May 3rd, 2020, which doesn't seem like that long ago. That was literally just a little over a month ago.
Right.
And that's a 5-month break.
It doesn't seem possible, yeah.
That's just, and once again, dude, and we talked about this before, it's not up to literally anybody but the creators. They can literally, they can do whatever they want with the show. Adult Swim's going to abide, and Netflix. Anyone who wants this show to be produced for them,
right?
That's going to be up to the creators at this point.
And I think they did themselves a favor by not only breaking this season up, but also giving us a long kind of hiatus, because now they've given themselves what I consider to be a comfortable creative cushion to interact with their audience, to communicate with their audience of when things are coming. We're not, Rick and Morty fans are not unaccustomed to waiting 5 months, 6 months, 7 months, Yeah. So now that
they know we can.
Exactly. So as much as, I feel like the people who are demanding episodes sooner, those numbers are falling off, and the people who want the chunk of the meat of what they're creating are patient enough to wait for it, and they know it too, but they also know they don't have forever to make it.
Yeah. I agree 100%. And like I said, they know they can, so they will. Do we get season 5 in November of 2020? In just over 5 months.
I say
doesn't happen.
No.
What are the percentage chance that it happens this November in 5 months? The word has been out. They've already been working on it. So, do we get a new season? Do we get a new Rick and Morty content in 5 months or less?
Here's my prediction: 20% chance they release it in 2020. 80% chance they release it in 2021. And I believe that because the way they have used holiday episodes in the past with the plot points and the characters and whatnot, if you think about Jerry hanging the Christmas lights this past season, I think they would rather start off the year strong with a new season and string. If they're not gonna do a 5-5 break on us, I'd rather have a whole year. Give me an episode a month, maybe.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather have an episode a month than a couple months with no episode.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not really up to the cable providers or anyone at Adult Swim. It's literally up to the creators. And I think maybe Adult Swim probably keeps them on some kind of schedule. So like if they're ready to drop 5 episodes, Adult Swim's like, okay, we're going to do it this way.
Right.
We're going to pick fall because the fall lineup is always the big one, the big crunch, right?
Right.
Right before the new year. We're going to take a break at the new year. And then we're going to come back in the spring or the summer. Be the
2021 name grabber.
So do we repeat last year and go November to, 5 weeks in November and then cut straight to May? Or do we...
I hope not.
Yeah, man.
It was like Game of Thrones,
it's just whenever it happens, it happens.
Yeah, you got to be patient with it, and I feel like the more pressure the audience puts on the creators, the less wholesome and truly fleshed out the final product becomes. Because I don't care whether you create for your dog in your room or a network. In the end, you want to have something you want to show to people, but if you were rushed and uncomfortable during the creation of that, you're not going to be proud of it when you have to show it to your dog or the world.
Here's the interesting thing that I'm finding out as I am digging a little deeper here. Season 1 kind of, perhaps obviously the test season there debuted in December. I'm not going to say the year because it's going to make you feel old as shit.
Oh, Lord.
But December...
2015?
No.
14? Season 1?
Season 1 aired...
Destiny came out in 2014, bro.
December,
that's how I judge my life.
December 2nd, 2013 was the air date of the pilot episode.
Wow.
And they went straight through. And
it took almost a whole year to get the whole season, though, right?
So, yeah, at December, and they went through the first 3 episodes in December, and then they broke off into January. And then did 3 episodes in January, and then 3 episodes, and then the remaining 5 episodes were.
That's wild, man. As you're talking about
March through April,
I'm fleshing out my brain and memories, and we used to be roommates in a house together during that time, and I'm just like, yeah, that was about all at the same time.
So this is the more interesting thing. So season 2 aired July 2015,
okay,
which we watched the premiere,
right?
And it aired all the way through, like straight through, week after week.
Yes.
10 episodes in a row, boom, up through October of 2015.
Okay.
Took a small 2-week break through August, September, or whatever. But they aired straight through July through October 2015, all 10 episodes in a row, bam. And then season 3. Remember that was the April Fool's episode.
Okay.
Where the first episode aired on April Fool's.
Right.
And nobody watched it because I didn't believe it. We've been over this before. I didn't believe it. I didn't think it was real.
Exactly, yeah.
But episode 2 July of 2017 straight through to October.
Okay.
So season 2 and 3, as of right now, looking at the data here, straight through July through October, and then season 4 started in November.
Okay.
So, are we getting a November, or is it possible at all, even the slightest minute chance, that we will be getting new Rick and Morty content as of the end of the summer this year, 2020?
I'm going to say 60-40. 60% chance we don't, 40% chance we do.
Yeah.
I like to think if they had all of their ducks in a row to end season 4 with a lot of creative chutzpah to put behind the next foot of the season. But part of me thinks they might want some creative time off. But that's the thing. When you're creating a series like this on a contract like this for a network like this for an audience like this, when is there a break?
Yeah.
When do the creators have an opportunity to sit and rest on their laurels in order to...
Maybe when it's airing. I think that'll be the only time that they might be able to get some time away from it.
As long as Adult Swim isn't pressing their neck for the contract date, you know. Sometimes the networks will ruin those release dates, but I don't think they're pressing that. They're making them the most money they have right now.
So,
right on.
Yeah, so that's it. Like I said, we might get Rick and Morty content in July of this year, which is mostly doubtful.
Don't hold your breath, but grab an oxygen tank.
Yep. Or it could be November of this year, or never. We'll just be literally sitting here with our thumbs up our own asses, talking about how when's season 5 going to air. Let's start the speculation, and it's not gonna, and they're just gonna drop it on us, and we're gonna freaking cry tears of joy.
My thumb smells like butt.
Yep, literally. Thumbs up our asses episode of Portal Gun Podcast has been preceded.
There you go.
As always, check us out wherever you consume any kind of content.
We're on all the major platforms.
Name one of them, I dare you.
I think we're on the old
Zanga.
Oh, there you go. We got the pages, man. We got the MySpace.
Can we make a Zanga page?
Ones. We can make a fake one.
Okay, coming soon. The Portal Gun Podcast Zanga page.
I'm gonna get a Squarespace site to title it Zanga to recreate a Zanga page. So
there we go. If Zanga doesn't exist, we're making a Zanga, and then we're good. We can make MySpace too. Let's make MySpace happen.
We're gonna take you back literally in the Portal Gun.
Yes,
in
actually.
Time.
Yeah.
But this has been good. We are on Google Play, Apple Podcasts. We're going to be on YouTube if you want a visual accompaniment to what we see.
Spotify is what I have.
Hey, there you go. If you're
Spotify is there. Apple Podcasts. A lot of people have Apple Podcasts.
That's how a lot of people find us, and through Spotify, and then Podbean if you're a big pod guy.
I'm a big pod guy, so my Podbean account.
I'm a potty.
Harry Potter with D's instead of T's. So anyway, this is the Portal Gun Podcast, and we are here to give you all the latest and greatest Rick and Morty. As always, check out the Rick and Morty content that's available everywhere on the web. There are tons of great creators out there who are doing the same thing, arguably better than we are right now, but
we're doing it for fun.
We're all here out just having a good time, just having 100 years. Rick and Morty, 100 years.
Yeah, thank you for watching. If you do watch, don't be afraid to tell a friend. Give us a like and a subscribe. If you can do anything for us, give us a 5-star rating.
If you think this sucks, tell us about it. We can talk. We're open to conversation.
That's cool. Come at me, bro.
Yeah, we'll just say hey. What's up? Do you like Rick and Morty or nah?
Hey, man, come over. What else do you like?
Rick and Morty, Season 4, in the books. We are patiently awaiting Season 5 as we've consumed all 10 episodes, and we are so selfish and so greedy. We want more right now, and we'll be sitting here giving you content while we wait for their content.
Every single day until we get it. Give it to us.
Boom. This has been the Program Podcast. This is Isaac.
That was Jeff.
See you later.
Boo!
The show must go on.
Yes, it must.